Fibro sarcoma is a type of cancer that affects young people and it's very rare. Today we feature a survivor of this particular type of cancer, and this is no other than Dr. 𝐂𝐀𝐍𝐂 Diallo. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Ida.
Welcome
How are you?
to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Okay. This is the Cancer Smart Youth podcast show, and I'm your host, Ida. So today we're going to learn more about 𝐂𝐀𝐍𝐿's story, and if you really follow the Cancer Smart Youth podcast, if you follow the Zambian Cancer Society, then probably you have come across 𝐂𝐀𝐍𝐿's story, because we have shared his story several times on multiple platforms. So, by the way, 𝐂𝐀𝐍𝐿 is also part of the Cancer Smart Youth. So he's not a guest. I shouldn't even call him a guest, right?
I'm not. This is home.
All right. Okay. So 𝐂𝐀𝐍𝐿, we just want to understand your diagnosis, okay, and where we are right now, what you're doing in life, okay, and what the cancer experience has taught you, what opportunities it has brought. So today we're talking about positives. We're dealing with the positives only. I know it has its challenges, what, but let's keep it positive today.
Okay, yeah. Like you said, for those who've been following, I'm sure you know my story and you've probably read it or heard me talk about it. Today we're talking about the positives, like Ida said. So it's been a number of years since I was declared cancer-free. I was in remission, and then I haven't had any symptoms. The cancer is completely gone. Last year, I graduated from med school.
This is what I want to hear.
Yeah, I graduated from med school last year, and I was inducted, did my graduation, and right now, I'm currently working as a junior resident medical officer, volunteering, of course, at a certain hospital in Lusaka. Yeah, and life's been good. Life's been good. You know, I've been living. I've appreciated life a little more. You know, I take each day as it comes, and yeah.
Okay, so what age were you when you were diagnosed?
When I was diagnosed, I was 14.
14, 15.
14, 15.
Okay, and at this time you were still in probably primary or secondary school. You were so far from university, right?
I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know what motivated you to get into the medical field.
Okay, so even before my diagnosis, I had an interest in, you know, medicine, science, and everything in that field.
Those cool kids that love science. Hey.
Yeah, okay. So my diagnosis just made me realize that it's what I really wanted. Yeah, after I went through the entire process, the treatment, you know, and everything, and then during the process, I was like, okay, I want to, you know, also help people, you know, fight this. Okay. Every time doctors came to see me, most times I felt better. So I was like, I need to do this for others also.
Okay, good, encouraging. And you know, because in Zambia, we have, the population is higher than the demand. And this is why sometimes when we go to the hospital, you'll be on the queue for a long time. True. Because the demand is just so high. So what word would you have to people that, number one, they're not sure of what career to go into, and number two, they're skeptical about getting into the medical field?
Okay, having no career to go into is also okay, you know, because you need to be sure about what you want before you make that decision. So sometimes I know I've met a number of people who don't really know. You know, they've approached me also, like, what career do you think is the best for me, and things like that. But sometimes it takes time to discover yourself, you know. So maybe just look at your interests first, see what you are interested in, and act on that. If maybe you don't know what you're interested in, you can always ask someone, maybe a mentor. It could be, you know, someone you look up to, a family member, you know. Ask them about the field, what interested them to pursue that, and maybe you can see that it's for you. Yeah, so you can ask someone, or you can even, these days there's Google, there's YouTube,
Google.
there's everything. You can read up on different careers, and see if it's for you. And for the medical field, most people just know that it's for them. Yeah, most people know it's for them. But if you don't know it's for you, like I said, if you you have friends who are doctors, who are nurses, radiographers, or anyone in the medical field, you could sit down with them and ask them what their job involves, things like that. You see what you're interested in, and then you can decide to start. But we definitely need more people in the health sector. So,
all right.
Yeah.
So for people like me,
okay.
Can I still say, people like me in my late 20s, can I still say when I grow up I want to be, or that's it?
No, you can. I remember that, is it one of the visitors who said life begins at 40 in one of this. So, go for it. 20 is still young, by the way. Even 40 is still young.
Late. I said late.
Still young. So there's still time, We've had people, I went to school with people who are in their late 30s, early 40s, and they're done now, You could sit and wait for, and be home, and for 7 years, but you could also be a doctor in those 7 years.
Wow. From right now, after this episode, I'm going to enroll in med school, so.
I'll go with you.
All right, I get it. Thank you. That's very good. So also, that one thing that I'd like you to bring out, like the very first time that you shared your story.
Okay.
Your story is one of the few, I think, the top 3 that got most reactions ever since you started sharing stories.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I remember people getting to your inbox, family of people who are survivors, friends, and they wanted you to talk to their friends, to their relatives who are fighting, who are walking through the cancer journey. And I remember at one point we're talking on the phone, and we're like, I'm so stressed, people are calling me, and they want me to talk to their children, they want me to talk to their relatives, friends, partners who are going through the cancer journey, and I feel so overwhelmed. How did you take that?
Okay. Like you said, it was very overwhelming in the beginning. First, I didn't even want to share my story in the beginning.
Remember.
Yeah. So opening up to the world and, letting them into my personal, because that's very personal for most people, and sharing it out there. I didn't expect that response, because like you said, when I read the other stories, people I was encouraged, and it ended there. I didn't know that it goes beyond that. And that's why I say, after sharing my story, that's when my cancer advocacy began, because the number of people that reached out, I was replying to people almost every day. We read your story, it's very encouraging. I want you to talk to my mom, I want you to talk to my son, I want you to talk to, my cousin.
Yes.
It was almost every day, almost every week, I was receiving such messages. And then that whole experience was new to me. So I didn't even know what to say in the beginning.
What do
I say to these people,
Yeah.
who are fighting, the theme for World Cancer Day this year was how unique our cancer stories are.
Yes.
So even then, if they tell me about their relatives and whatnot, I realize that there was some uniqueness to their story. Maybe the type of cancer that we had, maybe the stage that they were diagnosed in.
Yes.
For me, it was diagnosed before it had spread to other parts. So the prognosis or the chances of survival were better than maybe some of the stories I was listening to. There was a time maybe when I talked to someone, that time, I talked to my mother, but she had really advanced cancer. Shortly after, I encouraged him and encouraged the the mother, he sent me a message after the mother had passed on. You know, so it was challenging. There was first that survivor's guilt. You know, I survived this, and others don't survive. You know, it sort of felt like, you know, when you write a test with your friends, and then you make it, and then others don't.
And you were studying together.
Yes, so it's even.
And they even asked you during the exam, say, what's that?
Exactly.
And you say, I don't know.
Exactly. So it felt like that in the beginning. But then, as I was talking to more people, I was learning. I was learning that, you know, I would approach different situations differently. And then, lucky enough, I was advancing in my medical career. So I was able to use the knowledge I was acquiring in medicine and incorporate it with the experience from talking to other people. And also, you know, Zambian Cancer Society had introduced me to different, you know, programs, you know, where I learned, like last year we had the program where we were learning effective communication and storytelling. I was able to use all those things that I learned to, you know, talk to people. And now I'm a qualified medical doctor. You know, I did different courses along the way, which also helped me to, you know, talk to people. So I got the hold of it, and then the audience was growing. You know, it was talking one-on-one, and then I would talk to bigger groups, you know, different ages. At golf tournament, I talked to a whole audience. So yeah, it was overwhelming in the beginning, but now I saw the difference that it was making, and I love doing it. So I'm always ready to go wherever I'm asked to go and talk to people. And lately I've been seeing a lot of patients, a lot of cancer patients, so it's added to my experience. So whenever you need, you know, someone to talk to, you know, connect you to a cancer facility, you can reach out.
This is the man. Okay. And thank you so much, because, you know, with the different programs that we are running, the Brave Hearts Project and the Cancer Smart Youth, the golf tournament, all this, whenever Sega is one of our to-go-to person when it comes to awareness, advocates, youth advocates, and he's big on it. And it's just so crazy how obsessed he is now, and he wants to talk about his story. He's not ashamed to talk about it anytime. And this is the advocates that we are talking about, you know, breaking the silence on cancer, because there are a lot of stigma, myths that go around, you know, in the cancer space. And one word that you mentioned when you were just explaining about it is prognosis. So, you know, the Cancer Smart Youth, we want to use Cancer 101 information. What is prognosis?
Oh, okay. Sorry for, you know, it's hard for medical people to
just... We know. I was like, oh, the English in here is not English.
Yeah, sometimes we don't even realize we are deep in medical jargon.
Us break these bigger words, you know?
So prognosis is basically the outcome of the disease, if I can simplify it. Like, if you get diagnosed with a disease, like, how good or what will be the outcome of that disease. So sometimes the prognosis can be good, the outcome can be good, and sometimes it's poor, depending on the stage that they found that disease. So let's say in terms of cancer, since we're discussing cancer, maybe they find it, it's just starting. Maybe it's in stage 1, or it's it's just starting. So which means the chances of survival, chances of curing that cancer are good. So it has a good prognosis. So even the treatment, it won't be as aggressive or as, you know, as someone with advanced cancer. And when the prognosis is poor, opposite, when maybe it's caught in late stages, it's advanced, affecting a lot of things.
So then what is diagnosis?
So diagnosis is now finding what that is, like the condition itself. That's the diagnosis. You can be having signs and symptoms of a condition, but we don't know what it is. You know, you can be saying, no, I've been having fever, I'm sweating too much at night, I've lost so much weight. Those are just signs and symptoms. But we don't know what's causing that. So when we determine what is causing that, and we put a name to it, because almost all the diseases have names. We put a name to it, or this is this type of cancer, that's your diagnosis. Yes.
We learn every day. That's the difference between prognosis and diagnosis. And today we have Dr. 𝐂𝐀𝐍𝐂 Diallo, who is a young cancer survivor. He is a cancer smart youth. He is a cancer advocate and a young medical doctor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then also the other thing that I would like to bring out, you're not Christian.
No.
What's your religion?
I'm very Muslim.
Muslim.
Yes.
Okay. How has it been, how's been your experience, like when you're dealing with patients and maybe they tell you they want to pray, or how do you encourage them? Because sometimes maybe the patients are Christians and you want to encourage them maybe to have that trust in that supreme being. Do you get yourself mixed up when you're interacting with Christians?
Not really, because I believe we are all praying to one God. We're all praying to one God. So I don't, even when I am encouraging them, of course, I'll start with the medical part, because, it also comes, I believe it also comes from God, because most of the medication we're using, even just the water we're using, it comes from God. The medication they make from plants. And so I don't like to separate the two, because now it becomes like religion versus medicine. I think it's one.
Yeah.
So yeah, even when I'm encouraging the patients, a number of them know that I'm Muslim, maybe as we are discussing, but it's general advice, I think, for every religion. Like when you are talking about God, I don't think we're adding maybe details that are not in the other religion.
Yes.
Like if I'm encouraging you, I'm telling you, no, follow your medication. If you're religious, pray. Pray to your God. Yeah. So I don't think there's a mix-up most times. But
Okay.
All
right. Okay, great. So the type of cancer that you had is very rare. Where is it found? Like, for someone to understand.
Yeah.
What is it called again?
It's Fibro Sarcoma.
Where is it found?
So cancers are named according to, wherever there's what we call tissue or cells, cancer can arise. Yeah. So depending on the part of the body that's coming from, or the layer, we have different layers, even in our mouth, everywhere.
I
we have
remember
different
that
layers. Yes.
Biology.
Yeah, basic biology. Yeah, so cancer is named according to the tissue or the place where it's coming from. So sarcoma, it's cancers that are coming from, connective tissue, and connective tissue is things like bone, cartilage, fiber in the body. Yeah. So what I had was Fibro Sarcoma. Yeah. So it was coming from deep connective tissue.
Okay.
Yes, and then it was on my anterior chest wall.
Okay.
Yeah, which is just the chest. I don't think that was medical jargon. It's self-explanatory.
No, yes,
Anterior chest wall.
It is. Okay, so now you're cancer free. Do you have any challenges, like body wise, where your cancer was, anything, or?
Yeah. That's there. I can't lie. It's there. You are never the same after a cancer diagnosis. After you go through the treatment, you are never really the same. It changes you in so many ways. Emotionally and physically. Also, it depends on the type of treatment you went through. For me, I had undergone first, and I did chemotherapy, and then which we call neoadjuvant chemotherapy, like before you surgery or anything. And then I had surgery, 2 surgeries. So the first surgery, they had removed, if you've been following from my story, they had removed, because when they went in, they found the tumor was bigger than it looked outside. So they removed the muscles on the left side, so that pectoralis major and the pectoralis minor, which are just muscles of the chest. There's the bigger one and the smaller one below it. So they had removed it together with the tumor. Yeah. And then after there was that whole recurrence when it came back, then it was close to the bone. So they had cut like part of the ribs, about 2 consecutive ribs. They had cut them. So, you know, it came with all those physical, for lack of a better term, I'll call them deformities. Yeah. And then, you know, there was like a space, you know, and then for someone who's young, you know, young people, we like to muscle, go to the gym and all those things. I felt like it restricted me from some of those things. Not that I was not allowed to completely go to the gym and whatnot, but also just to take precaution, because, you know, these muscles are what support and help you, you know, if you're carrying heavy things and things like that. Yeah, and just physically, there was that whole, you know, get all those insecurities when you're growing up. But I'm learning to accept, you know, and seeing the bigger picture. You know, I lost some muscles, some bone. I gained a whole life, and I'm a doctor now, helping other people. So yeah, those challenges are there, but you just need to learn to, you know, live with them. Since they are there.
You summed it up so well. I mean, what more questions can I ask? What more questions can I ask? Yes, you've got it all. Thank you very much, 𝐂𝐀𝐍𝐂𝐃. Your story is really encouraging, you know.
Thank you.
14-year-old, 15-year-old being diagnosed.
Yeah.
Later down the lane, you're a medical doctor and treating people sometimes who are going through what you went through, who are as young as you were when you were first diagnosed with cancer. It's very good. So I know there's what's her name? Your sister's name, the one who had one of. I know there were many people that supported you.
Yeah.
But there's one sister of yours. What's her name?
Oh, Bine.
Bine, hi. We love you over here.
Hi, my sister.
Okay, and if there's anybody else you'd like to really call out and say, you know, they were part of your journey, anybody, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, okay, there were a number of people part of that journey. You know, it takes a whole community, and you don't fight cancer alone. You know, when you get cancer, everyone who loves you gets it with you. You know, sometimes it felt like it was affecting them more than it was even affecting me, because I found myself sometimes, you know, being the one to console my mother. She'll be crying uncontrollably. No, it's going to be fine. You know, it's going to be fine. Not that, you know, I had also moments where I wanted to give up, and they were the ones who were encouraging me. So that's what I was saying. It took a whole community. I would go the entire day if I were to mention names. But then, you know, like my sister, because she's a nurse, so she, you know, she knew what to do most times. Yeah. And then my other sisters also, you know, they were not around, but they were calling, you know, the entire time. They're not in the country, but you know, even now, you know, how's your health? How is it going? You know. And then just my brothers also, you know, they were ready and to, you know, when I needed anything. And it was, you know, coming for chemotherapy. You know, those days would go home, come back every day for chemotherapy, and to be my brothers who are there to, you know, bring me to the hospital back, you know, when I need anything. And most importantly, my father and my mother, you know. I don't think I can even thank them enough for that. You know, even without sickness, you know how parents go all out for us. But with sickness, you know, at times I would wish the disease was just gotten from me and they just put it on themselves, you know. So for them, I can only imagine what they were going through. Now that I've seen, you know, it was different experiencing it as a patient. The perspective is different. And for them, you know, that's their little child, that's their little boy. And then I've seen a lot of, you know, patients and bedsiders and how their parents go above and beyond, to see that they get well, even when they know that maybe this cancer won't be cured, but they still keep the fight. So I'd like to give a shout out also to my parents. I always tell them I love them, and very thankful for everything they did and are still doing. So yeah, and then the Muslim community also were very helpful, in their own capacity. Prayed for me, called to check in. And my friends in school and friends I met along the journey, especially in med school, they made life easier and bearable. The fun times we had, I would forget about all these problems that I was facing. We had good laughs in university. So I'd also like to give a shout out to them. I hope you're all doing great wherever you are as doctors and helping other patients.
Thank you very much, Sega. We truly appreciate and we love you. Thank you to everybody who walked this journey with Sega. You're amazing. You really contributed to make a very meaningful youth, and we are so proud of you. So
thank you so much. And just one last thing.
Not a problem.
This is a huge platform, so I take every opportunity to remind people, go for screening.
Yes.
Cervical cancer, most of these cancers are preventable. So go for screening. You don't need to have any signs or symptoms for you to go for screening. Just go, and then get your children vaccinated for HPV. Good time is before they are sexually active. So get those vaccines. They are very safe. Go for prostate cancer screening and all these cancers that you can go for screening. And when you see any growth, anything unusual on your body, any prolonged symptoms, go to your nearest health facility. There's treatment for cancer out there. It's not like before when we had myths, people would say, no, when you get cancer, you die. There are a lot of people surviving this disease, especially when it's caught in good time. So do that, go for screening, healthy lifestyle, eat well, mind what you put in your body. In your body. Eat well, exercise, quit smoking. I know it's not an easy thing to do. If you need help to quit smoking, there's help out there, but quit smoking, quit alcohol. Most of these cancers, if you see the risk factors, smoking, alcohol are up there. So for things, lifestyle modification, for things that we can prevent, let's try and work on those things. We know there's that saying, I like saying it all the time, that to live is to risk having cancer. Even children will get cancer, but for things that we have control over, like smoking, have just one sexual partner, use protection.
That one is very important.
Yes. Let's work on those and fight this disease together. And hopefully we'll have a Zambia that's cancer free.
Zambia that is cancer smart. It's been the Cancer Smart Youth podcast show, and Sega literally took the show over and became the presenter because he's given you all you need to know. So thank you very much for coming through. For partnership, you can call us on 0976-659914 or email us at this email that is scrolling on the screen right now. Don't forget to go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to the Zambian Cancer Society YouTube channel so that you are up to date with all the episodes that we're going to have moving forward on the Cancer Smart Youth podcast show. If you'd like to be a guest, don't hesitate to reach us, to get in touch with us, and then we are going to be conversating. We're going to have these open conversations, these open discussions, and we raise awareness. Who knows? Your story may save a life. So from me and Sega, until next time, bye.
Bye.
Feel free to follow us on all our social media platforms at Zambian Cancer Society: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. You should also subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss an episode. Contact us on 0976 659914.